Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Star Wars Discussions. Today I'm going to cover a couple of topics. Welcome to another episode of Star Wars Discussions. Today I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Nothing too big, It's a short little episode for May the 4th. I don't think I've ever done an episode on May the 4th before, so yeah, new experience for me. So, first thing I want to talk about, guys, I went to Barnes & Noble today and bought a couple EU books because I grew up on that stuff. And I just want to touch upon the EU and what it means to me as a person, as a Star Wars fan. And so speaking as someone who will never watch the new movies going forward. Because Disney has screwed up so badly. I don't know if they realize it, but they have. So. But basically, EU, those of you that might not be familiar with it, it's basically a fountain of material that enhances the Star Wars universe. So I'm going to use Legacy of the Force as an example because it just might be the best series in the EU. Just in general, if we're talking about like memorable stories from the EU, because not everything is good, I'll admit that. Like the using Long War was pretty bad actually. But Legacy of the Force, by far, is by far superior to The Force Awakens or Rogue Zero for sure. When you really dissect The Force Awakens, nothing there. It's just a bland fan film that looks like really good graphics with, a high budget or whatever. It's not really a movie. It doesn't build upon anything. And that's what you really discover when you take a deeper look at stuff instead of just looking at it as one side, like, oh, it made a lot of money, so it must be good or whatever. No. You look at it as a movie. Look at it as a product. How does it compare to the original trilogy? Does it build upon what the Return of the Jedi set up? No. Does it develop the classic characters that we've all grown up to love? No. They all take big steps backwards. Han goes from being the hero, one of the heroes of the Republic, to going back to being a smuggler. I know he's always been a smuggler, but like, you don't take steps backwards when you make sequels. It's supposed to build upon what's already there. That's the whole point of a sequel. If you don't tell people about their characters, like Rey, for instance, how am I supposed to give a damn when she's supposed to be going through stuff in the next movie? And people are calling Last Jedi like, oh, she's going to go through her character journey, where like, she doesn't have a journey. She doesn't have a journey. She's already won. There's nothing else for her to do. This is so funny because I originally liked the film. It's still fun to watch. But if you, as long as you look at it as a fan film, if you look at it as a sequel to Return of the Jedi, it fails on every level. Other than the visuals and maybe a cool-ish lightsaber fight at the end, it's a poor man's Star Wars film. It's pretty bad, actually. I'm like that. Kind of sad to me to come around with the realization, but it's the truth. It's sad. It's very sad. This is why the EU is so much better. Well, one of the reasons why it's so much better. Because unlike Force Awakens, the EU actually develops characters like Han Solo, like Leia, like Luke Skywalker. They go through things that change them, that make them better people. And that's the reason why people love them so much. They're not just characters, they're people that people like, people relate to. I said this before, but like the reason people connect to Luke is because he's a kid that wants to go on an adventure. Like any other teenager, he wants to get away from his parents or whatever and live his own life. And he gets the chance to do that. That's why he's so unique among cinema characters. I'll even bring up Lord of the Rings for a minute here, but like even Frodo is an average person that gets swept up on an adventure and becomes a hero who saves the whole freaking Middle Earth. Not by himself, but he still saves Middle Earth by destroying the ring. So it's the same concept. The Force Awakens, you don't get any of that. You get an overpowered chick, she can pull a mind trick out of her butt. She can fly the Millennium Falcon somehow. I still don't know how that happened. Yeah, I scratched my head when I watched like, what? How in the world does she know how to use the Falcon? Not anyone could just fly the Falcon, people. It's Han Solo's ship. It's Han Solo's ship. Like, that's his signature his signature aircraft, people. I mean, granted, you had other ships like the Raven's Claw with Jan Ors and Kyle Katarn. Like, that's Jan Ors' ship. You don't see Kyle Katarn flying a Raven's Claw. Well, maybe once in a while, Jan's not around, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you're never going to see Jaden Core flying the Raven's Claw. Not without Kyle Katarn or Jan nearby. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing. I don't like seeing Rey flying the Falcon. I don't care if Chewie's there with her. It's not right. It just makes me even more angry that they killed him off. And they're trying to make people forget about him by making a stupid young Han Solo, whatever nonsense that I'll never freaking watch. I don't have the patience for it, you know? I just don't. I don't have the patience to sit and watch some young loser try and play an iconic character. I wish them the best, but it's not supporting the movie. It's not happening. You know, it's not happening. But yeah, the EU is by far one of the best things that was ever created in the Star Wars universe. I mean, one of my favorite pieces of material is Dark Empire. Now, in Dark Empire, it's kind of a complex story, but basic point is Luke goes to the dark side because he wants to see what it was like for his father when he turned. But he ends up going a little too far, so essentially, I guess it's kind of like Jason Solo, except Jason has different reasons for turning. Jason turned, well, because I guess, I don't know, I don't remember. I know Jason was seduced, like most people are, to the dark side by a lady named Maya. She was one of the coolest villains in Star Wars history. But he got the top 5 Sith. She's up there with the top 5, or top 10 at least. We're up there with Darth Treya and Darth Bane, Darth Sion, Malgus, Malak, Revan. I don't really count Revan as a villain, but she's definitely up there. She's one of my favorite characters. And she's definitely one that I wanted to see in these new movies, but unfortunately Mickey Mouse is too obsessed with redoing stuff that's already been done. So we never actually get to see new characters. And no, Rey doesn't count. She's just a female Luke. So the more I watch, I haven't watched it in a while, but just thinking about it alone is like, man, this is really sad that they couldn't actually come up with something new. After how many years? Oh my gosh. Because, like, how many years passed since this and Return of the Jedi? You gotta make another damn Death Star? You got to be kidding me. It's so sad. It's like, I love when people try to defend Force Awakens and say that it's all they had to do a similar film. Like, no, they did. They made a choice. They reacted to the prequel haters to go online and cry about Jar Jar Binks or young Anakin and all of the crap, as if they have any control over what happens in the movie. They don't, but they still cry about it, like they actually have influence over these big ass corporations. So, like, thanks to those people, this is the movie we got. We got a freaking rehash of the original film, and it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Don't get me wrong, it's not terrible, but it's really bland. The more I think about it, it's really bland. There's no substance to it. Ray really doesn't have a character at all, really. Because they leave too much out. They leave way too much out. There's too many questions with no answers. Like, how in the world did fake Yoda, the orange head lady, find Luke's lightsaber? Oh, well, good question for another time. Like, no. You tell me now. That's a pretty big plot point right there. They're never going to come back to it. I guarantee. I guarantee. Luke will return on a lightsaber in the next movie. I guarantee Rey's going to run off after she starts having visions of her friend in danger. She's going to go fight Kylo Ren and blah, 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 all the crap. Like, gee, that sounds familiar. Like, how much you want to bet? Like, for real, how much you want to bet it's going to happen? There's just a couple of issues with that film. And again, it's fun to watch if you don't see it as a sequel to Return of the Jedi. If you watch it as a sequel, it fails. If you watch it as a fan film, it's good. And believe me, I've seen tons of great fan films on YouTube. And all of them are better than the garbage we're getting now. All of them. I just can't believe that's come to this, you know? Just sad. Very sad. And believe me, I want to be excited, but I'm just not. I have no interest in watching these movies anymore. Thing is, I can live without new Star Wars. I have plenty of material to be satisfied with. Even if these movies never happened, I still have the EU. I still have Legacy of the Force. I still have Knights of the Republic. I still have Republic Commando. I still have Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Canon, Dark Empire comics. I still have all these books and games and action figures on display in my room. I don't need new movies. Especially not remakes of stuff I already own on freaking Blu-ray. And like, if it's good material, I'll acknowledge it. Like, Force Awakens is disguised. It's disguised as a sequel when it's just trying to be a soft reboot that Star Wars never needed. Like, as soon as Disney bought Star Wars, they should have immediately ignored the prequels, the prequel haters, and made their movie. Make your movie. Don't worry about what people say online. They're insignificant. It's a fraction of people that don't like the prequels. The average person won't even know of their existence because the original trilogy still stands out. Prequels happened. They add layers to the originals. They're not better. They were never going to be better. That's the thing I don't understand what people get so mad about. It was never going to be better. So all you're doing is setting yourself up for disappointment. It was never going to be better. You gotta remember there was a big gap between the originals and the prequels, at least 10 years. Lucas was doing other things. Like, he wasn't just sitting around just thinking of, oh, gee, I'm going to write the prequels today for like 10 years. Like, he was doing other things. You gotta remember, when you're a writer and you got all these characters' ideas in your head, you can't remember everything on all at once. When I'm a writer, I can't remember everything I write. That's why I write it down. Even then I forget. So you gotta understand, people. He took an idea from his mind and made it into a multi-billion-dollar franchise. And now the franchise is in the possession of Mickey Mouse. So I sympathize with George Lucas more than Disney. At least George Lucas had the passion to say, hey, I tried my best with the prequels. People don't like them. I'm going to give it away. So I sympathize with him because he put his heart and soul into this. Disney doesn't. It shows. I don't really care how much money the Force Awakens makes at the box office or whatever, how much Rogue Zero made. The movies are just they're average at best. I hate Rogue Zero more than Force Awakens, but at the end of the day, both films, neither is better than the other. So, yeah. It just goes to prove the point that I'm not looking, I'm not looking forward to episode 8 at all. I'm just going to skip it entirely because there's nothing to get from it. There's nothing there. Like the trailer was incredibly bland. Nothing but close-up shots on superpowered Rey. She can do everything without even any training whatsoever. Like, why is she being trained in the first place? Why does she need to be trained? She already beat up the villain. Shouldn't have beat him again. That doesn't make any sense. Yo, we're going to tell you who her parents are. Who cares at this point? Who cares? Clearly, it doesn't make any difference to her character because they don't have the balls to tell us who the hell she is anyway. They're just like, oh, wait till next week's episode and you'll find out about those characters you're supposed to care about. I'm like, no, you're supposed to tell me that in the first movie so I can care when they go through stuff. Like, there's no reason to pay to see any more of these films. Unless they did War Republic or something, but they won't do it because they're too obsessed with this one little box in the Star Wars universe. They can't see anything else other than the admiration people have for the original trilogy. They can't see that how many people online, just in general, love the Old Republic. I got into a conversation with someone today at Barnes Noble. I'm like, you know how many people want Old Republic material, either on TV or in a film? 95% of the damn fan base, man. And those people, nobody that I've seen in the comment section is talking about how much they want a Han Solo film. Nobody. Most of the people I talk to or interact with, even at work or wherever, they want Old Republic. They want Revan. They want Basileus Shan. They want Mal, Darth Bane, Darth Treya. They want those characters. They don't want a character that's already been established in the original movies. I mean, we already have young Han Solo. He's in the original freaking movies. Why do we need someone else to play him? I mean, like, it's pointless. I have no desire to watch it. I probably will not watch it. I'm like, at least now I know when it comes out so I can avoid going to the movies. There's no point. I mean, it's irrelevant. I think the last piece of news I have today is episode 9 release date has been moved to May 2019. I predicted this before, but I knew it would be a matter of time before Star Wars started coming out 2 movies a year. They're not there yet, but they will be. I knew it was going to happen. First step was moving it to May. Then they're going to do maybe a spin-off film of May and saga film, air quotes, in the summer. I won't be watching either, but they're going to do it. Do it Marvel and it works out. You got 3 Marvel films coming out this year, so you got Marvel they can do with Star Wars. At this point, care less. Star Wars I knew, Star Wars I grew up with is gone. It ended with Return of the Jedi in that teddy bear village, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like going back to Force Awakens and why it fails as a sequel, because it's trying to rewrite things that have already been established. When you look at stuff like Lord of the Rings or the Harry Potter movies, they don't rewrite things that have already been established. They build upon it. That's what a sequel is. It builds upon the story that's been established, adds to the history that's been established. Two Towers does not rewrite Fellowship of the Ring. Return of the King does not rewrite Two Towers. They build upon things that have been established in the world. There's a big difference between a sequel and a remake. I mean, they went out of their way to literally rewrite the original movie with better graphics and a shinier lightsaber fight at the end of the film. It's plot for plot, and it's hard not to acknowledge it. Whether you like it or not, it's not a good film. It's not a good sequel because there's too much left out. I'm like, oh, we're going to find about Luke and his disappearance in the next movie. Like, fine. Why don't you just tell me now? Like, why should I care at this point? I made Luke the coolest character in Star Wars original trilogy, next to Han Solo himself. Made him into a little whiny brat that runs away at the first sign of trouble because his nephew decided to cry a little bit. He runs away. You look at the expanded universe, Luke Skywalker. He rebuilds the Jedi Order, gets married to Mara Jade, has a son. His nephew falls to the dark side. He loses his wife. He kills the wrong person in retaliation. Gets exiled to deep space with his son. I mean, he goes through a whole bunch of stuff that develops character. And The Force Awakens does none of that. They said in a couple of sentences that Luke basically turned to a chicken. He's a cow. He went backwards. Like, this Luke is not the same Luke from Return of the Jedi. This Luke would have died from the second Death Star if he had the same attitude he has now. Because Luke, in Return of the Jedi, his character arc was to save his dad. He was willing to die for it. If he just gave up on his dad, he would have died. Because that was the whole point of the movie, that part of the film. It's like, hey, Dad, I believe in you. I know what's good in you. I won't give up on you until you redeem yourself. He was willing to die for his cause. You telling me that same Luke gave up on his nephew because he fell to the dark side? No. It's out of character. Doesn't make any sense. I don't care what anyone says. Doesn't make any sense. So yeah, Force Awakens fails. Rogue Zero is another discussion entirely. Yeah, Star Wars is done, people. It's done. And comics are going on the same route too. There's nonsense about Captain America being a Hydra agent or some crap. That's another rant for another day. But Star Wars, done. It's over. It's over. There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Episode 9 is irrelevant at this point. I can't even look that far ahead because The Last Jedi is going to be a piece of crap. It's gonna fail. Force Awakens is a friggin' remake of 4. A couple of different elements here and there, maybe. But same damn thing. While Last Jedi might not be point for point Empire Strikes Back, it's going to have the same tone. It's going to have the same kind of outcome, I guarantee. Luke's either going to say he's her father at some point, or somebody's going to have a revelation in that movie. It's going to be just like the Vader thing in Empire Strikes Back. At this point, there's no point in them holding back because people are expecting at this point. No sense in running from it anymore. Yeah. Currently reading Legacy of the Force, Exile. I can't remember which book it is. So like just reading the first chapter alone is like it's already better than Force Awakens by a mile. Don't think it's really hard to do. Like I said, the EU enhances what we already know about the original movies. It builds upon it, fleshes characters out in ways that Force Awakens has never done. And it won't do. The Last Jedi will not do it either. They don't have the creativity, people. They don't. If it's not an animated film with singing and dancing, they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's that simple. They don't. I don't know how else to say it. It's like it's hilarious. I always love people try to defend this movie too. It's so funny. And the prequels would get even more hate for this, but at least the prequels are trying to do its own thing. And there were no Death Stars in that knows. So people hate on Jar Jar Binks or whatever. They'll defend the stupid teddy bears from Return of the Jedi. The stupidest gimmick could have possibly done in that film. Like I was playing Battlefront a little bit earlier today, the Coco new one. I bought the original one from my original Xbox. It's way more fun than a new one. Like, I started falling asleep playing the new one. Gotta be honest. It's just like a lot of material from the Disney universe. It's very bland in how you play it. It's a generic shooter. There's nothing really spectacular about it at all. And the second was even worse, I think. Agree, disagree, don't care. They're just trying to reel you in with the impressive graphics and look who could play as Kylo Ren all of a sudden. And where was he in the last one? Well, we wanted to focus on the original trilogy, blah blah blah. And guess what? The original trilogy is the only thing in Star Wars. So suck it up and deal with it. Prequels exist, whether we like it or not. Yeah, I don't mean to sound down on May the 4th. Just something that bugs me sometimes when people get into these stupid arguments online or whatever. Like, Star Wars is Star Wars. You either like it or you don't. Stop crying about it, you know? So, yeah, episode 9, irrelevant at this point. I really don't care anymore. Like, I'm moving on from the new Star Wars films. I don't need them. I don't want them. Like, they've already failed in my eyes, so there's no point in paying to see these new pieces of garbage. I have the U. That's all I need from Star Wars at this point. It's going to keep building my expanded universe book collection. And I'm going to, hold on to the prequel movies on Blu-ray, Clone Wars series, and the original trilogy. That's all I need. It's like Force Awakens is good as a fan film, nothing more really. It's a well-made fan film, but if you look at it as a sequel, it doesn't line up because it feels like a completely different series. And that's the problem. They're trying to change too much. They're trying to change everything that people know about Star Wars. Not what you do in a sequel. I don't care who's directing or writing it. It's not how you make a sequel. It's not good storytelling. At the end of the day, movies are just artwork. They're visual stories. And if you don't know enough about your characters when you first meet them, why should you care going forward what they go through? That's why I didn't like that trailer for Last Jedi, because I don't know enough about Rey to care. I don't know. I don't know who this chick is, what her motivations are, how the hell she has all this power. Comes out of nowhere. How can she use a lightsaber with no training? Close her eyes and all of a sudden she's a master? Like, what? I assume when she caught the saber she was Luke's kid, but I guess not. I guess they're gonna have some stupid twist that doesn't make any sense. I'm almost expecting at this point, but I don't know. I don't care anymore. That's where I am with Star Wars. Just gonna wrap up the night with Empire Strikes Back after I finish with Skyrim. That could take a while, but yeah. So, happy May the 4th, and I'll see you guys next time.